So the project this time was to make a shark. Uh, I Before starting the stream, I made myself a small template, paper template to position the shark, my drawings of the shark on both sides of it easily, and to make it so that both drawings were as close to one another as possible in terms of accuracy. I helped myself in positioning by making the paper, the ends of the fins and the nose as close to the wood as I could. That way, I was able to use them as a positioning pins on the side of wood, and I was confident then that I had the exact same drawing on both sides. This then let me use the same technique I'd used for the chicken to that was to carve all the way through following my 2D drawing, and then do the rest of the shape afterwards when I was done with the initial shape. I think that was a good choice because when I did the beaver, yes, I was doing well, but that was mostly because a beaver is a lump with a tail. It's not a nice way to describe it, but that's basically what it is. But a shark is has a simple basic body shape, basically a tube that tapers off, but with all of the fins in different angles, different sizes, different shapes. Uh, if I had tried to do it from all sides at once, like I did with the beaver, I would definitely have lost track of what I was doing. Even there with the shark, I did lose track at a few points. I was able to keep myself on target because I had references close by and easy to look at, easier to look at than when I was doing the chicken and the beaver. So, and it's not obvious right now, but later you'll see that I used a lot more markings with a pen. I was the pencil. I was trying to be more deliberate in what I was doing, a lot more. So you'll see I would draw, figure out once I'd done part of the carving, I'd figure out, okay, this specific portion I can't touch it, for example, because that's the place where the center of the fin will be. I can't risk breaking it and things like that. So I had a lot more control. One of the difficulty I had was with carving the in between two fins in this roughing out. I basically had to start the cut on one side, flip the block, and do the cut from the other side, or sometimes without flipping the block. This did make it so the recording that you are seeing is a lot more jumpy because I edited out almost all of the times I had to flip the block. But because I didn't want to lengthen the video by by leaving in all of me pondering on making sure that I'm doing the right cut at the right time, that I'm not risking cutting myself, that I'm flipping the block a lot. So I left that out because either the video would have to be longer or I would have to make the time lapse faster, which I didn't want to do because 2x speed is already quite fast. We don't lose much, but there are details that more or less disappear when we do it with this fast, and faster wouldn't have been watchable, especially with the amount of flipping the block I'm doing. It would have been dizzying, I think. I like how with the shark I was more careful and deliberate with how I was cutting, uh, because I think I had a good workflow of doing one part of the one specific part of the shark at a time and focusing on that until I was done, more or less. That it made it more coherent, I would say. The process felt more not professional, but more reasonable and understandable for me. One of the things that helped was I was mentioning that I had better access to reference when I was doing this than what I was doing than when I was doing the chicken and the beaver. That's because the previous times I streamed when I was carving and I wanted to look at reference, I was more or less decent. I more or less didn't allow myself to do it because I would have had to open my phone, look up pictures on Google, scroll until I found a picture that really closely looks at the specific portion I'm struggling with. But with a shark, I decided that I would pre-select reference images of a shark from the top, the bottom, and one of the side. This made it so that to look up at pictures, I just left my phone on the stand and just unlocked it already in the picture folder with the one of the three pictures there, and I just flicked it and once or twice to see the exact picture I wanted to see for the part I was asking myself questions on. This made it so that I really took more time to make sure that what I was doing was right, that I wasn't missing crucial details. And I think it's something that going forward I'm going to have to keep on doing just for like in the chicken and beaver stream I did look up references, but since I had to spend so much time there, it felt wrong to do so. It felt like I was wasting the at the time not many viewers time. Well, I guess if you look at the live streams VODs on YouTube, it would still be a waste of your time if I did look up at pictures all the time using the long process. But so yeah, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to respect your time and mine. I don't have infinite time to do my wood carving. I do have chores to do, places to be. Whenever I was doing pockets, like you saw, and I was carving the lines that I'd drawn on at the beginning to serve as guide to leverage my knife against, which was really useful. It it made the first few cuts of every section easier, which and made strong uh, guides for future cuts after that. Uh, Here I chose to remove the portion of wood behind the fin, the tail, by drawing basically a straight line in between the 2 points of the tail and just removing all of it. I started by removing parts of it manually, and then once I had removed enough that I didn't fear that I would go too far with my saw, I got most of the way through, and then just use a knife as a lever to pop it off. And after that, it's time for the other directions. I think my piece of wood was too thin a bit for what I was trying to do. It feels like the shark I ended up with was very light and mustn't have eaten a lot. But it's still a good shark, the final product. But it could have used more meat. So here I'm really figuring out, okay, these fins are the ones on the side. These ones are those that are on the top and centered. These I was really looking a lot at reference and making sure that I wasn't going to be missing geometry. And then I chose a continuous chunk that I was confident couldn't be needed, and removed all of it basically at once. Well, not at once, it's a lot of cuts, but I focused on that until I'd removed this old portion. And then I kept going. I went in order of priority of what I was confident I truly needed to remove. So with each step, I was close. Each step where I removed something was certain was not needed was a step where that helped clarify the places where I had doubt on the exact shape it needed to be, since I was really helping myself along by being systematic and careful about what I was doing. I say systematic, but I did. There are points where I drew a portion and then forgot to do it until later. Mostly on the symmetric side. Like I don't know exactly where it is in the recording when I'm doing it. I'm not scripting my commentary, so I may be too early. But I know there was a time where I drew on both sides what I wanted to remove, but I ended up removing just one side and first, and then the other side much later. I not I don't think I had forgotten about it. I just think that I think it was trouble with wielding the knife the same way on both sides, because my handle on the shark itself is a lot different. Uh, if I want to carve the tail, in both cases I'm holding the shark the same way, but the side of the shark and the geometry surrounding the tail that I need to avoid in order to carve the tail isn't the same, so it's not the same movement, so it's not the... So similar trouble may have occurred in that case, which I'm now unsure I will even notice, but in this whole sculpture, the part that I was the most unsure about were the front fins, the one that are used for propulsion by the shark. Because due to the size of the wood I was using, the proportions in general, I knew from the beginning that the front fins would have to be mid movement, mid stroke. They would have to be towards the back, a bit outwards as much as possible if I wanted to then to have a reasonable length proportion wise. In all of the fins, almost, I think I did stumpier than I would have liked. The it especially the one on the back, the iconic one that appears blunted somewhat, which makes it read more like generic fish than shark. But I more or less saved it with the face details that will be made later. Mm, But here I'm really doing the smaller back fin that are outwards facing. It was really hard to carve in between the fins because the fins themselves would get in the way of the cut I was trying to make. In basically all cases, no matter which side I was attacking the fin from. So that's most of the reason why you'll see me do part of carve a part somewhere, then come back to underneath for in between the two fins, and go back and forth like that a lot. That's because it was really annoying to do to remove the wood in between the smaller fins. Well, annoying is not the correct word. It was just harder, and well, we like easy things, so we go for what's easiest first. Oh, I think I might have confused both the fins. These ones were the ones that were truly difficult because they were the fins that I wanted to be longer, so to make them noticeably longer, in feeling at least, I needed to really carve deep underneath them and in between them to really make them pronounced. And those one really got in the way. The first ones that I was talking earlier were not the true problem. It was a bit ahead in my commentary apparently. I think I did a good job with the frontmost fins. They aren't exactly the shape I wanted, but they're nice. So here, the tragedy. When I was trying to do the back of the tail, I broke it right here. It I managed to the piece that flew off was mostly intact, so I managed to with difficulty smooth it out and keep on carving the part that flew off so that it would mostly match the rest of the tail, and then carve the rest of the tail. And you'll see me try to you'll see me the aftermath of the glue up. I purchased a bit of wood glue that I added to the tail to make it to repair it. I've recorded separately without streaming the part where I removed extra glue. You'll see it just after the end of the edited portion of the stream. So now here I'm doing the eyes. That went surprisingly well. I basically just made tiny cuts towards the center of the eye I had drawn and removed the chip that was formed and then smooth it out a bit by twisting the knife in there. And here I'm adding the gills by making just small V-shaped cuts inside, just within the limits of the lines I'd drawn. On the size that I have my replay right now, I don't see well the detail, but when I was editing it was better, so I'm going to hope that it appears well within the final video. And this is the result before the glue up. Alright, we're now much later. I've used glue to attempt to fix the tail. It seems to have worked. I won't put too much force into it, just in case. But now I just need to remove the globs of glue that spilled when I was making the repairs. I'm hoping I'm not breaking it, that I'm not going to break it doing this. And not going to cut myself either. That would be very bad. And here we have a shark that looks better on this side. The line between the broken part and the intact part is a lot less noticeable on this side. I did a better job smoothing it out before I was at the gluing process. So thank you for watching. This will be it for this commentary. Thank you.